Welcome to my 1969 Porsche 912. Seems to be pretty much original. And in fact, if you have an original radio, I always thought that was pretty cool. I'll show you how that comes on here.
It is hard, but I have to say I joined together with about 30 other legislators, and we
in
held
here in
the
the building. I'm not getting any other stations, but you can see that it works. And let me go through the instruments here. This is an original clock, but I had it repaired at North Hollywood. The original clock worked well, but it lost about 5 minutes a day. So I sent it in to them, and they put an electronic clock in it. I have the original workings of the clock just for fun. There's the speedometer. It's showing 16,159 miles with I don't know. Anyway, the trip meter works. That's usually the first thing to go when the speedometer's getting tired. There's the tach. I put this 911 style gauge in here for oil pressure and oil temperature. It's kind of cool. I have the original gauge, and that's part of the car. But I like this pressure and temperature gauge. There is the original fuel gauge. The idiot light on the bottom comes on very nicely when you're low on fuel. So I'll get the original seat belts on here, which is the old hang-up style, which if you were in high school in the 60s was standard technology. And you wrap it around yourself and you plug it in. That's all there is to it. There's no retract mechanism back then. So now I'm safe inside my steel cocoon as we drive. Let's see if she'll start here. Oil pressure comes right up. This engine was rebuilt at 80,000 miles. The rebuild included a new case, so it does not have a number on it. And so that means this engine should have 135,000 miles on it. You can see the oil pressure is working great. I've done compression tests on it when I first got it, and I include those numbers in the description. So good compression, good oil pressure. Doesn't really burn much oil, drips a little bit. And the carburetors are Delortos, and they're a little cold-natured. They're not choked, and so you just got to nurse the idle for a little while until they get warmed up. Let's see how she'll do. Brakes off. Get in reverse, and we'll back out here. The idle sometimes behaves itself, and it idles around 1,000, 1,100, and then sometimes it idles fast at 1,400 or 1,500, and I haven't sorted that out very well. And when the engine's cold especially, but sometimes other times, thank you. It will stumble when you pull out in first gear. I've adjusted the valves and worked with the timing, and so I think it's just a matter of carburetor adjustment. So we're in second gear right now. These 901 and 902 transmissions are called dog-leg transmissions because you start out in first, way over into the left and down. And some people consider them sort of fragile transmissions. I think they'll last forever if you just don't try to speed shift. If you speed shift, or if you shift with two nice distinct motions, they'll last a long time. Going through the neighborhood here. The oil that I'm using is Mobil 1 right now, which is an oil with high zinc for flat tappet engines. At least it says so on the cartons, that's why I bought it. In my 914 I've been running a racing oil. Why can't I think of the name? I don't remember. Alright. So down into first. Okay, we pull out and shift into second. The transmission was built at about 20,000 miles ago. Going to third by Dumont Porsche in Oklahoma City. Going to fourth, 2 motions. Shift with your fingertips, they'll last a long time. So we're doing 3,000 RPM at 50 miles an hour. Oil pressure 60. Temperature will start to come up here in a little bit. A beautiful day in Oklahoma. So let's go into fifth gear. 50 miles an hour at 2,500. Once the oil warms up, the oil pressure goes down to 45 and through most of the driving range. Up here and do a turnaround pretty quick. When I got this car, it did not have any sway bars. I put a stock sway bar in the front and the rear. The lights all work. Headlights high and low are good. Turn signals left and right. The turn signal switch will center itself after the turn. Blinker lights come on. Backup lights work. Horn works. Ride in my Porsche 912. Stop sign here, so we'll turn around there and downshift and downshift. go down to first. We'll open it up just a little bit. The engine, when it was rebuilt, was upgraded to a 1700 cc cylinder kit from the original 1600. I'm not really tromping on it. I'm just sort of opening it up a little bit. It really performs nicely, I think. So we're doing coming up on 4,000 RPM, 75 miles an hour. And I tromp on it just a little bit, it'll pick up some speed. So we're doing 85. I think I had it up to 90 one time and I had lots of room, but I don't do that. Yeah, we're doing 90 now, almost. That's enough. But it is kind of fun. Back off to 55 before I get a ticket here. So if it's 55 and I'm in 5th gear, and if I open it up there at 3,000 RPM, I'm not really tromping on it, I'm just opening it up. It picks up pretty good. Yeah, that's enough. Temperatures come up to 180. Oil pressure still at 60. Once the temperature gets up to 200 range, then the oil pressure will drop a little bit. Up to the housing area here. I'll put my blinker on. You can't see it, but it's blinking there. And I'll downshift into second. And the blinker stalk will center back into where it belongs. Up to the garage, I'll open the rear deck and show the engine running. In the garage there, straight ahead, is my 72 914. That's my current project. I just finished putting the engine together. Had the transmission also rebuilt up at Dumont Porsche. Okay, you can see how it's idling at about 1600 here. So that needs to get adjusted one of these days. And hang up the safety belt instead of letting it dangle on the sill. Alright, so I'll go there's my little engine. I guess I can have it this way. 1700 cc's of raw horsepower. It just sits here, yeah, you can tell the idle's just starting to drop back down again. It usually does. Okay. Isn't that a great key? That's the way it used to be. All right. Thanks for looking. Hope you enjoy it.